Welcome to the podcast, To Be Single or Not to Be by Shanna Montana. On every episode of this podcast, we will discuss all things dealing with love, relationships, the single life, and dating in hopes of helping you make the decision of if you want to be single or not to be at the end of each episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we are about to get into it. But before we get into today's topic, I want to introduce our guest of the day, and that will be Miss Amani.
Hello.
Welcome. So moving along, as you guys know, there has been a post or a meme, whatever you want to call it, floating around social media. And it is one in regards to, I want a husband. And some people don't believe that people want a husband. People think that people want something they can label as a husband. They want something that's convenient. They want something to do. So we're going to dive right into that because it seems that it's buzzing on social media. So we're going to make it buzz on here today.
Yes.
So I'm going to read this to you and then we're going to start our dialogue. So it starts out, I want a husband. And the response is, no, you want something to post on social media. You don't want to forgive, to let go, to serve, to forsake others, submit, leave, cleave, communicate, fast for, cover, apologize, and to be accountable. You want trips to prove points to exes and to be able to say someone validated your worthiness with a ring. So at the end of this episode, we are going to let you guys know what we think the verdict is on this. But before then, we're going to have some conversation about it. So, yes. Amani, starting out, tell me, why do you think people get married? Other than, love, but, why do you think people get married?
For money.
Okay.
Resources. Men seem to marry because they want to have sex and affection. Mm-hmm. And women, most of the time, hopefully, women are marrying men for resources, and for stability. And so I think that's why people get married. Yes, of course, everybody wants others to feel like their life is good.
Yeah.
Nobody is immune
from
wanting to be admired.
Yeah, that innate desire to have another human being by your side.
Yeah, there's no immunity for wanting to be viewed favorably by others. So I might want to get married so other people can see me flossing with my hubby in Hawaii, but that's not going to be the main reason why most people get married.
Absolutely.
Okay, unless you're 12.
Yeah. And then that's a whole nother conversation that we need to be having. So I definitely agree with that. And I think that, guys, we are going to deep dive into everything that we just touched on. I agree. And I think also I'm going to talk about first the positive reasons why people might get married. And just a few that I have down that we can dive into is what Amani just said first. The human nature desire for a partnership. You want somebody by your side. It's that longing, I think. What's it called? Pavlov's? I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. But it's like
love and belonging.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's just like, for beyond the physical need for eating, being fed, having a place to live. We have a social desire for love and belonging. I believe that's Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
That's exactly what it is. The hierarchy of needs. So I would say right there, you start out where it's okay. You don't have to go around and feel like, I don't need a man. I don't want a man. I'm in my bag. F all men. No. That's not what it's about. If that's who you choose to be, that's okay too. But know that it's natural for us to move in that direction.
Yeah.
I think the next thing is that some people feel like, I think the obvious one is, I found this good person. We're good together. Let's get married. It seems like the next logical step for some people. Right. They feel like, I found somebody is working. It might have just been working for 10 minutes. Instead of 10 months or 10 years. But they feel like, I found somebody. We like each other. We love each other. Let's go get married and ruin our lives. No,
right.
Seriously, but let's go get married and, take the next steps. Not really knowing that marriage is more than just the wedding.
It's a lot.
Apparently.
Apparently it's
allegedly.
Quite a lot. Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly it's a lot.
Before I came today, I was listening to a podcast about why people get married. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they mentioned is that in order to really reveal yourself and become who you are and go through the fire of life, you need somebody to hold you accountable.
Okay.
And, the people closest to you, like your family or a spouse, that you really can't just dump.
Right.
You can't just just not call
Drop
them back.
off. Right.
They're going to be the people that hold you accountable. And marriage in that way is a little bit painful because there's somebody there that is on the journey of life with you. And you can't really just dump them quickly.
Right.
They keep you from delayed gratification of just going out and sleeping with other people, because if you do, there are consequences.
Absolutely.
They have to, you answer to them in various ways. And, if you're responsible for paying a certain amount of bills, you have to go to work. You can't just quit your job.
Right.
You have to engage in responsible behavior. And that does require a lot more than what people might sign up for at the beginning.
Yeah, or think they've signed up. And that makes a huge point, because I think accountability is a huge part in this, I would say, this digital world that we live in. A lot of people don't want to be held accountable. A lot of people have this imaginary or this I don't know what exactly to call it, but something where they don't feel like they have to do what they signed up to do.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so it's like, I have signed up for this marriage, but
I changed my mind.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I changed my mind, or I feel like, I don't have to cook, I don't have to clean,
right?
And of course, I'm saying the very stereotypical things that come to mind, but I don't have to go to work tomorrow if I don't want to.
Yeah.
And you do. So I think that goes hand in hand with, you have to be with somebody who wants to understand they have to be held accountable.
Yeah, there are some duties.
Yes,
with
absolutely.
marriage. There are duties beyond having sex and having fun.
Yeah. Yes, it's more.
There's more.
Yes.
There's more than just sex and fun.
Yes, it is. So, I think that goes to the next. I only have about 2 more as far as like positive things why we think that people may get married. I believe some people want a covering from God. I know myself, being a Christian woman, and I am going to dive into this more later. I feel like I want to be with a man who has a relationship with God. I want a man that is chasing after God, because I do feel like if you are not chasing God in that way, if you don't have your faith in order, if you are not strong spiritually or working to become that, what are we going to do when we get in a pickle? You looking at me, I'm looking at you, and I'm praying, but you like, what you doing? So I feel like if we aren't on the same wavelength, that's going to cause an issue. So I think that you have to have a covering from God or whoever it is that you believe in order to cling to.
Okay.
During those times where things may not be as fun. Like we said, it's not all sex and fun and just, hanging out. All. It's a whole lot more to it. So I think that's one reason why people do
I want to respond to that, because I believe that men and women have their inherent roles and the things that they contribute to the world that make it great, that make it tick.
Right.
Women, and we've gotten away from this, but I believe that women are the spiritual guides of the home and the community, and the nurturers. I think that's inherent to the nature of most feminine women.
Right.
Now, for men, for most masculine men, their role in a relationship is a provider. They are the provider role.
Absolutely.
So for me, I want you to be chasing that money, because I'm going to chase God for the both of us. Yeah. All right. All you got to do is show up with your contribution as the provider of the house, and you let me worry about the spiritual part of it, because that's going to be the only way that I can focus on it, is if you paying these bills.
I know you're serious, and I'm taking it seriously.
Serious. Like, I feel like men, a lot of times, they're not going to be as spiritually focused as women. And you can look around when you go to church. You see who's in there. Women.
It is.
That's our natural, that's our natural desire, is to nurture the spirit. And so for a man, he just wants to watch the game on Sunday. He not really trying to come to church with you, because if he's doing the thing that he's supposed to do, he's tired from working. Yeah. So he just wants to chill. So for me, I think that in light of what you said, I guess it's more of a compliment.
Right.
You need to compliment the other person and fill in where my weakness is, which is wanting to wake up early and go chase a check.
Right.
You do that.
Yeah.
I will help you by waking up late and spending that check. I might wake up early and help you spend the check. But my job is to help you to spend the check.
It's getting spent either way. So I love that it's a different opinion, because I know that once our listeners are going to see, both sides of it. And I think that what you say, I definitely can respect it and understand it. And you're right. I think because women more so, not that, I would say we were raised in the church more, because you're right. When you look around in the church, I feel like as a child, I went to church all the time, but I don't think, as having siblings, you really don't People don't really talk about their brothers having to go to church like they did.
Yeah.
You know,
no,
it's not
I
as big
had
of a deal.
brothers, they had to go. They'd be down in the basement having rap battles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Defeating the whole
Like
purpose
playing
of being
games
there.
and stuff. They
Absolutely.
weren't paying attention.
Not
I would
at
be
all.
like, you know, me and my friends, we singing our hearts out and stuff and catching a little spirit and whatnot. And that's just because of inherently who we are. Now, I'm not saying that all men don't have a relationship with the spirit.
Right.
I'm not saying that. And I feel like whatever level that they're on is important.
This is true.
But it's okay for me if that's not your main focus, because I completely understand that sometimes we are a little bit more intuitive than them.
Absolutely.
Spiritual than them.
And I can see both sides of it. Because
Yeah,
I definitely
for sure.
think that, you know, and my views may change as time goes on. But right now, I'm like, just in my experience, I have not had a lot of experience with a guy being as close in his faith as I would like him to be, even as close as I am. I'm not saying that I'm about to be, you know, Shirley Caesar tomorrow preaching. You know, I'm not saying that. But I need somebody who, you know, is in tune with me in that way right now.
Yeah.
You know, so I definitely like that we're able to speak to both sides of that. So the next thing is going to be, I think some people may decide to get married because they have similar life goals or views that align with it. For example, we know the age old, I have to wait until I'm married to have a child.
Yeah.
And I think that some people, we know, they say call them shotgun weddings, where people get married because somebody's gotten pregnant.
Absolutely.
Or somebody has gotten pregnant. And it may not be that, you know, the family is forcing it, but they may feel like that's the right thing to do, quote unquote. I have to marry her. I know I had a friend who used to be like, you break, you buy. So she felt like
you
break, meaning you get me pregnant. Or we get pregnant because it's two to tango.
You bought it.
You bought it. So now, you know, you do have to go get that bag indefinitely because we are here. We are not going anywhere. So I think that those are some of the things that, you know, the human nature to have a partner, wanting some sort of covering. You found a good person. You want to, you know, you're in love and you want to do that, and having just life goals that align with it. So touching on those things, ladies and gentlemen, we are now about to dive into really the meat of the post, because the post says basically that these women don't want a husband. These women want something they want to call a husband for all of those reasons that we listed. So what we're going to start out first with is, I want to say, I believe the post has some absolute truth to it, but it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Right.
I think that, number one, we're going to start with social media, where we saw it.
Right.
I believe that people have to stop, or I'll say this. I believe that people allow social media to create a timeline for their life. And I've said it before. I'm big on not saying I have to do this by 25, this by 35, this by 45. People think that it's not an accomplishment if you get married after 30, if you buy a house after 35, if you get a car after 38. And we have to be able to remove those stigma from things.
Right.
I think that, and I'll be honest, I've had this conversation with people. I think that it is a trend in some ways. I think, and I'm not going to say just the younger generation, but I think it's people out there who honestly see people looking happy, looking like they're having fun, and their husband could be whooping their ass for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you would never know because you are looking at it. So I think that you have to, go ahead.
Oh, you know, people do want to follow us on social media, and I would much rather they follow the trend of wanting a husband than wanting to have a bunch of random sex partners. I think that's at least it's a worthwhile
trend. Yeah,
it's something that is a little bit more solid. It's better than, you know, because you might follow a health advocate or you know, even a spiritual person. So why not follow and want to emulate people who have what seem to be happy relationships? Now, the seem to be is the
that is the key part, because I like that perspective that you want to emulate something that is positive. But I think you have to really look at your situation to know that if it's a positive for you. Yeah. Because you may have somebody that you've been with and the history is there. You've known him a while. You may seem like, okay, I've been with him for 7 years. 5 of them, he's cheated. I'm not saying that everybody is a negative situation, but sometimes there are a lot of variables that go into it where it's like, I probably shouldn't be marrying this person. Right.
And honey, these days where marriage, especially and I can only speak from my perspective as a member of the Black community. Right. As a member of the Black community, marriage among successful women is rare. No matter how great the woman is. I know so many of us that are single, and you've addressed this before.
Only briefly.
So when you finally get that ring, you want to shout it from the rooftop. I promise. Like, I'm about to post it. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you want to show off. It's like somebody having a PhD at this point.
Yeah,
it's rare.
An anomaly. It is rare.
Yeah, yes. So it's not like It's not like it don't deserve that little moment in the sun.
Yeah.
People want to share their little stuff. So I feel it. And that's another thing you said. It's like, okay, social media dictates a lot of, how we think about things.
And react to things.
Yes. And so anybody can post to social media.
This is true.
So any little bitty thing that comes across as profound gets tweeted, retweeted, reshared. And it's like, it's not really all that profound. So This is one of those examples for me, because I'm wondering who sat up and wrote it. I'm wondering who wrote it.
Right. I was wondering that too.
If I had to guess, it was probably somebody single who is a woman who is bitter and mad that somebody she know is now engaged and posting it. And she might know like the history of their relationship.
Yeah.
And now she want to post something.
Yeah.
Like
shade.
a little shade.
Yeah.
Or it's probably a dude somewhere just kind of hating.
Yeah.
At the bottom just hating. Like, you don't want X, Y, and Z. You don't want this and that from marriage. I mean, nobody wants that bullshit from marriage anyway.
Or relationship.
Yeah. You go into it and you say for happiness, or better or for worse.
Yeah.
Some people don't say for better or worse.
They don't.
You create your vows.
This
So you can do for better or better if you like.
Yeah.
But the reality of marriage is that it does come with a lot of trials. It does come with a lot of transitions.
Rules and regulations.
And so depending upon who you end up with, you'll have less or more, but
right.
And
that's my stance. That's my stance on it. I think that with social media, it's great if you're going to choose to follow a positive trend. I think that, for example, a lot of people these days have become entrepreneurs because of what's happening on social media. I'm sure I probably got some of my courage to jump out and do my podcast because of social media.
Yeah.
I saw people who did it, and I look at it as inspiration. Like, if she did it, I can do it. Not in a negative way.
I know, I can do it too. Yeah.
It encourages me to know, okay, yeah, she's, works a 9 to 5. She goes to work. She lives a life similar to myself.
Yeah.
Let me jump out and do it. So I think that when it comes to social media and people getting married, I think that's okay. But I think that what we have to remember is that, just because we're posting about a wedding or posting our engagement ring, at that point we have to put in the work in order to be prepared for the marriage.
Right.
Because what you said was a great point. I thought about how this day and age, if I count 10 friends on my fingers and toes, 20 that are single, professional, and I know a worthy candidate of being a wife, and again, we'll get into that. I don't look at a wife as like something to be chose or a prize, but a person that could get married, a partner, it does not happen very often. So I can see why when it does, it's like, everybody, let's celebrate.
Yes,
it's like a job promotion.
Yeah.
Everybody, let's celebrate this win. Let's all get in on this, keep hope alive.
Right,
but,
for real.
Without the desperation. So I think that when it comes to, social media, it's one of those things some people may consider it even a catch-22. I think it can make you love, or it can make you hate love sometimes. It can go on both sides of it, because I'm going to tell this story, and I don't know who may or may not be an Aisha Curry fan or may not even know who she is. But I said that, and I'm not a fan ever of a relationship goals, but the persona that her and Steph put on social media, couples like them, couples like Will and Jada, those are just two that stand out to me right now. They make love look fun.
They do.
They make love look like we really love each other. And if they are acting, they're doing a damn good job at it.
Right.
But also with Will and Jada, when recently they came out on the Red Table Talk and told about their trials and tribulations, I think there were always speculations that something was going on.
Yeah.
But once you see somebody who's been married that amount of time to come out and give the real, it lets you know, yes, this does require work. If you want what, quote unquote, Will and Jada or the Michelle and the Barack Obamas have, you have to be prepared for it beyond what you're posting on social media.
Absolutely. Yeah, and yes, we know social media is a hotbed for people who want validation.
Absolutely. With everything.
Yeah,
not just marriage.
Not just marriage. And, some people do get married for validation from society.
Right.
And it is a validation. Even in business, people have a different perspective of you if you're married. In social circles, people have a different perspective of you. They have a different perception, rather, of you if you are married. It's at the point where I'm at the point where, I'm at a place where, well, why aren't you married? People ask, well, why aren't you married? How come you aren't married? And it would really just be easier if I could say, oh, well, yeah, I've been married for about 3 or 4 years, but I haven't.
Right.
So the validation, the validation factor is there.
It's built into society.
Yeah, it's built into society. Now, there are people that post because they want to look like they're shining and winning. That's inherent.
And let's segue right there.
Yeah.
That's great, because some people want to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And that comes down to, I just want the ring, or I just want to be
yeah.
chose.
I just want the ring.
I want the ring, or I want to feel like he chose me.
Girl, you can get chose now.
Yeah.
That can happen.
That's
Getting
not a problem.
Ain't a problem. Now, it's the one who's choosing you. You might not want him.
Absolutely.
But you can get chose.
Absolutely. So it's like, you have to understand that you cannot put value on yourself based on saying, I got this ring, or I got chose, or if you know that you've been in a situation where the person has not been 100% committed to you, they haven't been loyal, they haven't been faithful, they haven't done all these things, but sometimes they'll jump out the window like, let me go and marry this girl.
Oh, yeah, she didn't put some work in.
Yeah.
All their friends,
She stayed with me.
Yeah, I've been cheating, I actually heard a man say that about his fiance.
Say what?
Well, I might as well go on and marry her. She didn't put the work in, because she had put up with him for cheating for so many years.
Y'all imagine my face,
right?
Blank stare.
Yeah, he said this, and she's running after him, and now they get into a marriage, and of course it's the same thing,
right?
More of the same,
because it's like, we feel like if a man comes and proposes to us, that we have to say yes.
Yes, you do not have to say yes, sis.
Because if you're second guessing it and thinking about saying no, you need to go ahead and let him get that embarrassing situation out. Say no, because he's been embarrassing you. If you are at the point where you probably are going to say no to an engagement. So it's not about wanting a ring or to be chose, like you just said. You can be chose in a lot of ways. But to get that ring at the sake of your sanity, your mental health, so many things is just not worth it.
If you know you're going to have to put up with, what are some of the things that message says? It says, can you sign up for the forgiveness, to let go, to serve, forsake others, submission, all of those things. If you, with the man that you're dating, if you can't do that, you definitely couldn't marry him. Now, the only way that you can do these things and not feel some kind of resentment or a struggle is if he's doing the things you need him to do as a husband.
Right.
And he needs to be doing what he needs to do as a husband before you get married. He needs to demonstrate that he can do the things he needs to do as a husband, so you feel comfortable forgiving him.
So he's capable. He shows you that he's capable of doing it. Because Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are, believe them. And if he's showing you to be the opposite of all of those things, and you believe, because so many women do, I'm going to marry him, I can change him, we can work on that.
No.
You know how many people have to sign a divorce decree?
Girl, niggas cheat. They lie. They gonna lie to you. They gonna continue to lie. And you can't be mad at them really for it. You can if you want to. You're going to be wasting your angry. You're going to be wasting your angry. Just be aware that they're going to lie. They're probably going to cheat if they're given the opportunity. You're going to have to forgive them for various things. So what's going to make you feel comfortable with submitting to a man that does those sorts of things?
If you know that those things, like those three are waiting.
If you believe like me, that's what most men do. And I'm talking about my dad, stepdad, grandfather, President Clinton. We ain't heard about President Obama, but there are rumors out there about him with dudes. So we don't know. You know, I don't feel like it's in a man's nature to be completely monogamous. And that's okay. I accept them for who they are and all their faults. So in order for me to submit to a man like that, he's going to have to pay these bills.
Yeah.
If you want to be the man of the house, if you want a woman to do all of those things, to forgive and overlook, you got to be the provider.
100%.
100%. Like 100%. Like 100%. Like 100%. The provider. And that way you can be the leader.
And I think that's why I'm probably not ready to be married, because I have heard so many men say things of that nature, like, all men are dogs. You just have to find the one with the least amount of dog in them.
Girl,
it's like, what?
They say they telling the truth.
I know.
They telling the truth.
It's like, what?
That's the truth. Girl, I asked my father that. He told me, I was like, do all men cheat? Yes.
His words.
Yes.
He
was like, do I need, I asked him when I was breaking up with my boyfriend, I was like, do I just need to get over the fact that he keeps, embarrassing me, cheating on me. He was basically like, if you want to get married, yes. You know what I mean? So I don't mind. And it's like, it's different for us cheating than it is for them.
Oh, absolutely.
It's different for us. You're going to go through these things. And a lot of times women will stay, but they have a reason for why they want to stay. Right. Okay. Because all of that stuff, all of the turmoils that this meme is talking about is basically as a result of your man doing some bullshit.
Of something happening and you say you want to stay.
You gotta stay.
Because we talk about that. Every woman has her levels of what she's willing to put up with. Yeah. Some women can go 50%, some 5%, you don't know. But some women can deal with the cheating. Some women, that may be a deal breaker. But some women can deal with the wandering eye. Some women can deal with the lack of financial help. Everybody has their own list of their non-negotiables or what they desire. So that does make sense. And I think that you have to recognize that going into it. There is a possibility that you would be hopeful that it wouldn't, but you have to be realistic.
Yeah, because the romance part of relationships don't last long.
Doesn't last
3 to 4 years. Like, if you get 3 years worth of romance and lovey-dovey feeling, and wanting to just jump each other's bones all the time, you can ask any married couple. You really lucky.
Yeah,
you're not that little romantic
comedy.
It's a romantic comedy. It's not going to be funny after a while.
Yeah.
And it's just a natural progression of relationships. Once you really start looking at what marriage is.
Yeah.
That's what this thing is talking about. What marriage really is.
And everyone that's married, like we said, allegedly, everyone that is married, it always stands out to me when they say things like, marriage is hard work, with like big bright eyes looking at you. Like, it is not easy. Right. Do not think that it is. I do not know one married person that has ever said
and
that
it's easy. They really be buck eyes when it's the woman saying it.
Yeah.
And she's dealing with a man that's doing what men do.
Yeah.
But she still got to take her ass to work and pay half them fucking bills. While he goes out and takes the rest of his little money and spend it on somebody else.
No.
So that's why, I mean, and I hate, no, I don't.
No.
I'm just, from my perspective, for women, you need to be very smart about why you get married, and the romance, it needs to be the last on the list. It really needs to be the last on the list. You need to clock whether or not he is a good protector or provider. And a lot of the women I know, they naturally want somebody that's going to be the man. They want somebody stronger than them.
Yeah.
Now for us, we do so well career-wise that it's kind of hard for a man to be in that role at our age.
Right.
It's hard to find somebody in our age group who can roll like we do.
And then it's almost like it's a competition at that point. If they find that you are, say, just financially or career-wise doing as well as they are, then it's kind of like their ego has already taken a shot.
Yeah, they're so fragile.
Yeah.
Their little egos are so easily hurt.
Yeah.
So if they think that you might be somebody that is hard for them to please,
or it's going to ask for a lot.
Yeah.
Or you, quote unquote, do too much.
You're going to be single like me. You taking trips out the country on the regular. Yeah. They get scared by stuff like that.
What is she doing? Why is she doing all that?
Right.
I'm not used to that. I haven't seen that. Or why does she want to do that?
Honey.
But really, what do they want you to do for real? At home with my feet crossed?
Well, they want to be able to make you happy. Be able to please you. Be able to impress you. And so in a lot of ways,
is it harder to impress us?
I think it's hard to impress us for a certain extent. Like the way at the rate we go. Like if I look around at the guys that are my age, and if I wanted to marry one of them, and I want them to be the leader in the home, somebody that I don't mind listening to, somebody that I defer to because he's paying those bills.
Right.
He might have a harder time paying the bills, than somebody older.
This is true. Yeah, it's true.
Somebody older, that's just
more established.
Yeah, but a lot of times women, we want somebody that's Instagrammable. That you look good with on the gram.
But you look good with.
And you can take your trips and post online because y'all look good together.
Because we want the aesthetics too.
Yeah, you want the aesthetic. You want a handsome man that's close to your age that you can go and travel and take trips with.
That's true.
But you going to have to pony up on half the trip bill. And you're going to have to pony up on half them household bills because homeboy can't handle it.
You are right.
And then when he cheats because he's cute, and cute still gets men laid. Cute.
It does.
Men get laid because they cute.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't take a lot.
No, it doesn't take a lot, especially when a woman is drunk and she out and your man is out and he's willing. Then you gotta follow this little meme. You gotta do the forgiveness. You gotta submit. You gotta do all of this soul crushing stuff.
Yeah.
Because, that's what you signed up for.
I think you and my older sister may be on to something.
Girl, I am
because
so
all
on to
about
something.
Dating the older men and being more established and them being more secure. And like you talk about getting to the money. That's on the list of things you talk about putting romanticized last. If you reverse it, that's where you have the least of the worries. There.
You the prize, right? You want to be the prize?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you don't want somebody cuter than you.
No.
Cause they gonna be the prize.
And you hate that. I've even had girls say that, like, "Oh, he think he look better than me."
And girl, he do.
Yeah, so
he does look better than you, sis. And not all the time, but if he looks similar to, if he can go out and
still pull females,
yeah, and still pull female. I mean, he can. A man 35 easily can run out and get a 20-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely.
A man 45 can easily run out and get a 20-year-old.
This is true.
Especially if they walking around looking like an Idris Elba.
Yeah.
He's 50.
And the 50-year-old is likely even going to spend more money on a 20-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
The 35-year-old, you may not get real far.
You're not going to get too far. But now a 35-year-old man, he may be able to handle a 20-year-old because she ain't got that many bills yet.
She's
ain't
going to
been
go
nowhere.
eat.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying all that to say, yeah, you do want something that's Instagrammable. You want something that everybody can see.
Looks good.
But if you want marriage, then it might not be as pretty as you want it to be.
Oh my
God. It might not be that.
And literally, I had this conversation with some friend girls this past weekend talking about the aesthetics and about how sometimes when you're younger, you are so used to just selecting a guy based on physical attraction.
Yes.
And then once you get past the physical, the conversation and none of the things on the list are there. And it's
Right.
like, what am I doing? So then you realize that, okay, I might have only went in the past like, oh, they have to be a 9 or a 10. But then you realize, okay, them 7 and 6.
Right.
I'm drawing a line at 6.
5.
I'm drawing a line. It's a hard stop. And like a 6,
a 4 or 5, he'll worship you, girl. He come home with his whole check in your account.
Listen,
girl.
I gotta pray about that.
I'm just saying he might have been a cute baby, you know. He just didn't get braces until, he didn't get braces.
Oh my God, not been a cute baby.
He just needs to work out or something. But
this is true. You
have to go outside of what you think is Instagrammable.
And what you think is your quote unquote type. Because if you are stuck on, I've moved away from that because my friends used to know I had a certain type. And thank God for deliverance that I have moved away from that for the most part. But I think that you have to move away from that. So this goes to the next one. We kind of just touched on it where some people, needs, the reason why some people may get married is because they may need help financially.
Yeah.
And so it's not about saying, okay, I want a man to come in and, pay my
save
bills, things of that nature.
Yeah.
They want somebody to come save them.
Yeah. So it's always a good idea to not need somebody to save you. Mm-hmm. You always want to be able to take care of yourself.
Right.
Because that way you're not too thirsty for a man. Because you can go out and find a man that'll, if you're needy. But the thing is, men need to feel needed.
Right.
They like to feel needed.
Absolutely.
And so that's why you see all these really poor women or strippers or women like you would consider lower class. They get married quick because they know how to make a man feel needed.
And that's huge because I think in our society, we have recently, in more recent years, it's been all about, I'm an independent woman. Yeah. I don't need a man. I'm in my bag. I got my own. I got this. I got that. But at the end of the day, I think some of that is just a lie. You may feel that way at some point, but ultimately, we do. You like we talked about earlier, you want and you need a man, so things like that. A companion.
Yes,
so
for sure.
You're right. And I didn't think it's funny, but it's not. Somebody put online, and if you all get to know me, I love 600-pound life. And somebody talked about everybody on it. So true. Yeah. Everybody on there, 600 pounds, has a man.
They got a man.
They definitely need somebody. They
definitely need somebody. And it's and as a woman, you don't necessarily want to need them financially because that way, if you're really dependent upon them before you get married and they do something terrible and you're not married, you want to be able to walk away.
Right.
You want to be able to leave somebody that is physically abusive, treating you poorly. Right. You want to be able to walk away.
Right.
But at the same time, it doesn't hurt to demonstrate that you need a man. And I'm going to go ahead and just say it, like, we've gone out of the country together.
Right.
But I'm not telling nobody else I've been nowhere.
Yeah.
The longest trip, I done been to Florida. I'm just gonna lie. Because they lie. I'm just gonna lie the whole time.
So what value do you feel that has when you say
that'll allow them to feel like they can show me something new?
Okay.
Like, when they say you want to go to Cancun, oh yeah, I've never been. That's working like gangbusters, girl.
It is. But what do you do? Like, I understand.
They want to show. They want to feel like a man. Like they're like, oh yeah, I can show her.
Yeah,
something.
show her a good time.
Yeah, I can do something.
So what do you do if it continues on and you get with this person and you realize that we've been saying we haven't done these things or we aren't there?
They ain't gotta know. Why they need to know? And they don't need to know till after you get married. Once they get married, they run across your pictures like, oh, I thought you said you ain't never been. You never did go to Europe. Oh, baby, I forgot to tell you.
It was a quick trip.
I almost didn't even remember that trip. What they gonna do then?
Nothing.
What? Nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing but forgive you because they done already lied about 2,000 things. They probably think it's funny because they relate to lying.
As long
as they lie.
Path. Yeah.
They fucking lie. So you might as well just join the parade and get in on it.
Join the club.
And play the game. Because it is a game.
Yeah.
And the only way that you gonna lose is by thinking it's not a game.
Yeah.
Go on and play the game.
When they say think it's a game, definitely.
Yes, it is a game.
And you have to play it. So the next thing I want to say in regards to this is for the men specifically. Alert, 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 alert. Stop asking women to marry you when you know that you are still out here living your best whole life. You want to drag women through the trenches, knowing what you are out here doing. So, like we talked about before, I know as a woman, if a man comes to me and we have a terrible situation is trash, and I know that I should probably say no to this proposal.
Right.
The chances of me doing that, say if it is in front of family and friends, you have this ring in front of me. I'm a little bit insecure, obviously, because I've stayed with you for this amount of time, no matter how you've treated me. And then you come knowing good and well that you should not be asking me to marry you.
Girl, so that's the thing. You ain't gonna never get proposed to then. Because they that's what they doing. And that's why it's like, look.
But I think it's boundaries, it's levels, because I think that, like you said, there are going to be some things you have to forgive.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at, and we've seen this, and I'm not even going to say in real life, I just say on TV, where a person has dragged them, had
if
kids
stay,
on them,
this and that.
Yeah, and you stay and, abusing them mentally, verbally, whatever, and it's all this stuff going on. Their family hates you hate the mama, you done foster sister, and then they come on your birthday and say, will you marry me?
Girl,
and,
no.
It's like jump off the cliff like Trevor did after he asked Hillary to marry him. Look, so it's like, that's the kind of situation I'm saying where sometimes we are not even stuck in between a rock and a hard place. It is clear. It's glass.
My answer to that is if a man is doing all that, and if it bothers you, you shouldn't be with him. But my answer, if he asks you to marry him, yes or no, the question to ask is he wealthy?
That's a great question to ask.
Is he wealthy? Because a meme
that said bitches heal like Wolverine when that bank account
honey, when forgiveness hit different when your pocket's swole. Forgiveness hit entirely different. Is he wealthy? If he is wealthy, then bitch, you say yes.
Yeah.
Because every nigga gonna cheat on you. If given the I have a friend who on her at his bachelorette party the night before the wedding, he gets the stripper pregnant.
What?
Girl, yes. I'm sorry putting your business out there. I hope you never hear this, girl.
He done got the stripper pregnant. He got Ebony
pregnant.
Yes,
girl. Girl, Ebony just showed up to dance my ass.
Right.
She showed up. Yeah, that's it. Nah, Ebony doing a lot of flexing.
She came. She said, I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Then he eventually left her for the stripper.
I knew it.
And the stripper left him for another woman.
What?
Girl.
Karma moves
quickly and fast, decisively. And of course, my friend, she just wanted to be married.
Right.
She had been with him for a while. Of course, she was, chipping in, trying to make the marriage work all hard. If you have to work so hard at the marriage that you getting, you're stressed out, your cortisol levels are high. Yep, you gaining weight because you can't. Girls, let it go.
Yeah.
But if, you living a good life, you ain't got to worry about nothing resource-wise. He might be out here doing his dirt. Can he pay these bills and then some? Yes. What do? You get married, girl. And then if he don't come home one night, you won't know. You don't need to know because you need to be gone till the next day.
What?
Your ass need to cheat right back. No. If that's what you want to... See, I'm going to give all the bad advice. No, but no, I'm being dead serious. I'm dead serious. That's how you control your man. And this, y'all, I just learned this over the last year. My eyes got open by a couple of different philosophers. Mm-hmm. And I just learned this. Like, you can't tell somebody how to treat you. You have to show them.
Right.
And so if your man, he come home at 3:00 in the morning claiming that his car broke down and he lost his phone.
Right.
Girl, you don't need to be home. You need to come home at 6. Like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize you went home.
Playing the game back.
Yeah, he's going to be mad. Like, well, where were you at? Well, hell, where were you?
Out.
Yeah, so it's like, I thought these were the rules to the relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it wasn't okay to stay out all night. I thought, because that's what you was doing.
Yeah. But then you're going to be hard-pressed to find a woman that's going to do that. Because ultimately, women are like, come home at a respectable hour. And then
you can't put no rules on no man because he going to want to break them as soon as he get them.
Yeah, and then if they don't do it, the woman more so is just like up, losing sleep, getting mad when he come in. Where are you going off? It turns into an ordeal. And then it goes back to normal.
That's only when she's uglier than him. And she feels like she cannot do better than him. Like, you worried about where he at because you can't go out and get another one. That's the only reason you worry, because you can't go out and replace him quick because he cute and he tall. Girl, goodbye. Find somebody else that treats you like the prize.
Yeah, because
he not gonna let you stay out at no time because his ass home up under you.
Yeah, and that's what you want. And I think that's what most women want, is the one where you don't have that opposite situation.
Yeah,
but I can see if you are going to stay in that and deal with it, you have to play the game.
Yes,
but otherwise, it's like you want to be with somebody who's gonna be,
they not gonna be honest. They not gonna. Who is doing that?
Well, at least if you are not being honest, you got enough respect to hide it.
They don't be having. Yeah, now respect to hide
I said got enough respect to try to keep it.
Yeah,
that comes into play.
That comes into play when you got the ring, and he knows that you can take his shit.
Yeah,
that's how you make him respect you.
Yeah,
because otherwise, or he's invested so much in you that he don't want to lose that investment. He didn't, bought you a car. He like, I don't want.
When people in relationships and they get married because they feel like they've invested so much. And I think that's why
exactly right.
It is right now something, a harder pill for me to swallow in those situations, because I just I know I am not emotionally, physically, mentally ready for any of that, because I know what may come along with a relationship or marriage and what you may have to deal with.
Yeah.
And the concept, the give and the take, the pros, the cons, the consequences, the fun, it's a lot of variables.
That's why you got to be your own self. You cannot depend on marriage to make you happy.
You can't. And
it is not that.
No.
That is not what it is.
That absolutely is not going to make you happy, because the wedding, guess what, is one day. You go Saturday and you wake up Sunday and you back looking at each other.
Right.
Like, what you about to do?
Right.
Trying to figure that out. So that definitely makes sense.
You got to feed your own spirit. You have to have your own interests, your own life, your own person, your own relationship with spirit.
Yeah.
And let him do him. And then when you get together for the purposes of what you're together for, which is really to raise children and create a legacy.
Right.
It don't have nothing to do with that romantic part. It's got very little to do with who you sleeping with.
You are right. It does have little to do with the romantic part. That's something else we got to dive into. But I think that going to the next
point
of it. No, you're fine. That's fine. The next point is, we feel that I think that some women want to prove that they won, quote unquote. It's like it's a glass house and it has a Play-Doh foundation. Girl. If you feel like you won because you won because I y'all the baby mama, I'm the wife.
Girl, you paying the child support.
You are, and he probably still having sex with them.
Right.
You his ex, I'm his new girl. Why did it really end? Did you find out, sis? And how often has he cheated with you with that woman? So it's like, if you go into it with that mentality, I won, and you look at the ring or becoming a wife as a prize or the marriage as the trophy, then you are going to lose in the end anyway.
Yeah. That's not what it's about.
Not at all. You cannot have that I won mentality.
You're going to turn around and be crying talking about how you lost.
Real quick.
0
to 100 real quick. So, why I feel that Why do women sign up for that, you think? About that I won mentality.
Because they do want to win. Women are competitive.
Uh-huh.
We're super competitive, especially with each other. And especially when it's a woman, you feel like she may have one up on you because your nigga keep going back.
Ooh.
So it's like, well, you know.
Or you think she look better than you?
You think she might not even look better than you. It's something about her that triggers your insecurity.
She's a trigger.
So you feel like you have to win this in order to feel secure, in order to erase that insecurity. But of course you never can.
Yeah.
You can never erase that.
It's nothing you can
do.
With
those types of actions.
It's up to the man to erase it, because it's not about a one mentality. But if you have a trigger or an insecurity in another woman, it's up to the man to make you feel secure in the relationship. Like, that's not a threat. That's not a problem. Doesn't even exist to us. You know, but
that's up to him.
Yeah. If the man doesn't do that, you know, so that is something that we have to make sure we keep in mind. So that said, we have to, I think a huge part of it before we go to the next segment is, for me, I think we kind of touched on this with the spirit and spirituality. I think people have to stop playing with God. I think that people are going to say, you know, I'm a Christian and I live this life and I believe in God. You have to stop playing with the vows. You have to understand the sanctity of it. You have to understand the seriousness of it. You know, you can create your own vows, but most people get up there and say the traditional ones. So if you're going to say for better or worse, or you're going to say, you know, I vow in sickness and health and all those things, that you have to truly believe that. But I think that if you get into a marriage and you have a desire to have a covering, and say your partner doesn't, or your partner doesn't believe, then when you guys do get in a pickle, what are you going to do? Who are you praying to? Who are you talking to? Stuff like that.
I feel like everybody, so, you know, I have a very different relationship with God than most people, because I would consider myself to be an omnist.
Okay.
As in a person who lets people do whatever religion wise. I believe there's truth in all religions. And so I, you know, extensively studied many of them. I believe that they have a real undercurrent of the very similar tenets. Okay. And one of them is, you know, you treat people how you want to be treated.
Right.
You know, that's kind of karma. You might hear that in Hinduism. It's karma. What goes around comes around. What the energy that you put out is what you get back. So in saying all that, I believe a lot of times the God within us is the one we need to worship the most. And you have to be the person to be honest enough with yourself to know what is it inside of you that is driving you. What is the vision that you want to create for your life? Once you know what the vision is that you want to create for your life, then you go about doing that. Okay. And it may not align with somebody else's vision.
Right.
And part of that vision may be having a husband, but his vision for his life may involve having a wife. But that's the only way you two connect.
Right.
That may be the only thing that you guys spiritually connect on. I feel like, as far as that's part of dating. Discovering who that person is inside of them. Who is the God inside of them that they're worshiping? What is it that they're really praying for?
Right.
What is it they really, because, you know, everybody speaks with their representative at the forefront, of course, for the most part.
And these days the representative shows up for like 6 months to a year.
Or longer. You know, even longer. You know, you never really know.
Right.
But the longer you spend with somebody, you see what they do. You can see where they spend their time. Where do they spend their money? That's how you can tell really who a person is and what their energy is. And the God inside of them that they're really worshiping it could be the God of lust, you know, the God of lies. You really have to observe that.
Yep.
And then see how they align with you and what you want.
Yep. You have to pay attention to the signs. You have to dig. You have to discover who the person is before you even get to the point of the things that we're talking about. So that makes a lot of sense, discovering who you are and who that person is and not jumping the gun. So at this point, guys, we are going to take a quick break and we will be right back with a commercial. All right, so we've talked about all things dealing with relationships and how we should go about with the marriage and the pros and the cons and the negatives and positives. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about the work. And I would like to say only the strong survive, allegedly, when it comes to marriage. So the first thing is I think that people don't realize the work that is required for a happy marriage. I think that a lot of the points that you made, Amani, in regards to having a partner and some of the things that you'll have to deal with, the lying, possibly cheating and mistrust, things of that nature. But even if you take those things out of the equation, life events are going to happen. Life is going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's going to be highs, lows, hurt, pain, tragedies, misunderstandings, death, taxes, job loss, job gain, promotion. Somebody goes up, somebody goes down, children possibly, you know, family things, and you have to push through it. And what you have to realize is almost like, I like to call it like the nurturing that you have for a child, how you have to care for a child every single day. Yeah. You have to nurture your relationship the same way. You cannot get into a relationship. And I know I've seen it happen in my own experience where people get into relationships and they just go on autopilot. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that after a certain point, they go on autopilot anyway. You know, if you watch successfully married couples for a long, long time, it's because they know each other.
Yeah.
And they've gotten past the point where they need to feel like, okay, I would just want to make sure you still love me. Mm-hmm. They that validation. Know, you know, the love is the duty.
Yeah.
It's the service. It's the fact that you didn't go out and leave and have another family. It's the fact that you don't charge up all his credit cards and, you know, buy things needlessly. It's the fact that you're working on this dream together. You're working on the foundation of your family and building a legacy together.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like autopilot happens.
Inevitably.
I feel like it happens inevitably. And of course, the work part of it, that's for people who are still kind of getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. And even if
just the early stages of marriage, I think it might be.
But then, like, you're right when you say, you know, people, they've been married for 20 years.
Yeah, I think
and the husband gets cancer. We see that with Nene and Greg.
Yeah, you have to go through it. That's a new element.
Yeah, that's a change.
Yeah,
and it brings out the worst in people.
And a side you might have never seen because I've never experienced cancer, so I don't know how to deal with this.
And people change.
Yeah.
People change, and that's why people sign a contract so that they can stay together throughout those changes. They're forced to stay together throughout those changes.
Right.
So that's where the work comes in, because now you have to stay together.
Yep.
You can't just dip out on them because they gained 100 pounds.
Right.
No matter how much a man might want to leave you for gaining 100 pounds, this contract is going to make it hard. And that's the work.
Yeah.
That's the work.
And I think if you want to be there and if you're there for some of the right reasons, work is not always a bad thing. Work is not always hard. Sometimes the work is fun. Sometimes it's easy. But sometimes it is hard. Yeah. And you have to understand that. You know, work may be getting to know your partner on a deeper level, you know, to find out, you know, the things they love, what makes them tick, their triggers, what they desire, the positive things, you know, have they ever flown a kite? Who knows?
Yeah.
But as you get down the road, you're right. Some autopilot, it to some extent is going to be inevitable, because I don't still have to ask you, do you still love me 20 years later? At this point, I probably don't even care if you do.
Don't care.
Like, I'm ready for you to go to sleep, so I can stay down here and spend time by myself anyway. You know,
but you know, you do things with a person to show them that you care. Like, you know, if your man wants to go watch the hockey game, you know, you don't really.
That's
like
the compromise.
Hockey. Yeah, that's kind of some of where the work comes in. Or you really hate his family,
right?
But you go for the holidays anyway, and you put up with his mother. Yep. You know, you put up with his family. That's the kind of work. Stuff.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think we have to have a good balance when it comes to those things, because I heard somebody say this on Instagram, not Instagram, it's actually YouTube, that you should not feel like you are a men's rehabilitation center.
Oh, no.
And I think that starts early on, that you can be with a man that has opportunities just like you may have opportunities. Nobody's perfect, but I don't think that you should sign up for somebody that you have to, what John Gray says, be your wife, be your coat or covering, whatever crap he was saying about that. But I think that you have to recognize that a man is going to have things that need to be worked on.
They do.
But it does not mean...
And they really need to work on it on their own.
Yeah.
You can't pull somebody out of an emotional state that you're not in. Yeah. It's on them.
Yeah.
You may be able to be a good example. You have to keep the energy in your head good in order to influence them. But you can't even make them do it on your time schedule. It's on them.
Right.
You know, their happiness, your individual happiness is on you. Their happiness is on them. Their mental soundness and emotional soundness is on them.
Right.
So don't waste your time trying to rehabilitate anyone.
Not
so that's why in dating, you get to observe the person to see where they're at mentally.
And that is the key to dating, that you don't jump into something too soon or
just
too fast.
You want the ring or you want that validation.
Because it will turn into a rehabilitation situation. Girl. So I think that we also, in those situations, we just just have to remember that marriage on television and movies has been so more romanticized over time.
Yes.
You know, we forget about what it takes in order to make it last and to make it be worthwhile. We have to know that it's not going to end like Made in Manhattan.
Yeah, Hollywood has really done a number on relationships.
And even as a child, you know, like Ken and Barbie get married. You know, we're taught that early on. So we have to recognize, yes, it's great to watch those things, but know that is not life. And I know I don't know any married couple that would tell you that. So I think boundaries, compromise, and trust must exist in a relationship of any kind for it to do well and go forward.
Oh, absolutely.
So another piece we want to get into in the last segment is going to be remedies. And what we mean by remedies, you know, in these situations, we've talked about the pros and the cons possibly of marriage. We've talked about, you know, what marriage may look like allegedly. But in regards to remedies, how do you work on these things when you're dating, before you get married, or even while you are in a relationship? So I think that one of the first remedies is being patient. I think we jump into things so fast sometimes. We jump into them prematurely. We may be in a state where sometimes, you know, you're getting out of a relationship. It's really easy for you to want somebody else. Somebody shows you some attention, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is my new man. We have to do better with that. And I also think being patient with ourselves, not letting society speed us up, or not feeling like, you know, we're putting ourselves in a situation where we need a man. You know, I've lost my job or something has happened to me, and I need for this man to come in and save me. So we definitely have to be patient. I think the other piece is going to be talking to other married and divorced couples.
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, because I think so many people talk about they've never seen a positive or somewhat healthy example of marriage. And I don't think you necessarily have to see it to be successful at it, because you're going to create your own anyway. But I do think that it can help in order for you to have some sort of example.
Yeah, those are a couple of great things to do. I also think, you know, like with anything, start with the end in mind. What is the purpose? What is your real purpose for wanting to be in a marital union? For some people, it's to create a legacy. For some people, it's to have stronger financial situation with a partner. And some people want to have children and have a foundation for the children to be raised in. Some people want to have somebody that they can have regular affection from. So just whatever your reason is. And some people do it to stun on the gram. But just know your reason and own it. And start on the path with the end in mind, knowing what you want the end to be. Keep your expectations on that level. You know, keep them low, really, but just keep your expectations on the level of what your actual end is. And
what you're capable of. I think that goes hand in hand with putting in the work. I think also you have to look at this day and age is not such a stigma on like therapy and counseling. So even before you get married or while you're in the throes of it, I think therapy, counseling before the problems arise.
Go to see a financial advisor.
Financial advisor.
Talk about money, because that's number one. That's the number one reason why people get divorced.
Money.
And the reason why people get divorced over money is because the woman is usually helping pay the bills, and then when she finds out he's cheating, they might reconcile, but then they start having arguments about money because she's tired.
And that's at the core of she's fed up, so everything is going to go back to her, and she's pissed.
Everything goes back to money.
And you're right, with it being the number one reason why people divorce. So people have lied about money.
So you want to work on that from jump.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely add that to the list. So I think also, doing things for yourself for growth, whether it's reading things, listening to things like this podcast, just working on it daily. You know, like I said earlier, treat the relationship like it's a child. You have to nurture it. But I do like that as far as money. You have to evaluate it early. You have to talk about it. You cannot be afraid of it.
Yeah, you got to have the same sort of beliefs about money, because some people may be frugal and some other people may be spenders, and you want to know who you're dealing with beforehand.
Because if you don't, you'll wind up at a dead end.
Don't marry no cheap man.
Bishop T.D. Jakes said that. Don't he start out now? He said if he stingy at 21, baby, he gonna be real stingy at 61.
Girl.
Don't do it. So you got to pay attention to stuff like that. And what people consider cheap. So, pay attention to all those things. All right. So, based on everything that we have talked about, we have to now say what the verdict is. So, I'm going to give mine first. So, drum roll, please. I say that the verdict is the post is partially true. Partially true. I'm going to give it 70-30. I think it's 70% right and 30. No. I said that opposite. I think it's I think that, well, no, let me change my percentages. I don't want to say 50-50. I'm going to say it's like 40-60.
Okay.
So it's 40% right, 60% wrong. Because I still am holding out hope for love and for people to just do the right thing. So I think that it's 60-40. And the 40% is in regards to the post. I think it's 40% right.
Okay.
So, Amani, what do you think?
I think that it's probably about 40% right, too. I totally agree. Because there are some things that are just inherent to marriage. People may not consider that when they're getting married. But hopefully they do.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I the reason why I only say 40% is because I don't think it's wrong to want something to post on social media, because you can definitely best believe that as soon as I get my ring, it's gonna be my profile picture. It's gonna be my profile picture.
I have to say mine is at least gonna be an Instagram post.
At least.
I don't know about it being a profile picture,
after
but
I tell my family and stuff, after it's
friends, announced to the people I love, it's gonna be out there. Get ready. Speaking of into existence, but I say, look, we are two analog girls in this digital world, so we have to embrace it. So I think that we've unpacked so much in this episode based on this post.
I'm just waiting for the hate mail.
Yes, hopefully we haven't gotten there yet, but people move quick.
Oh, people gonna hate me.
People move quick. I love it.
Especially the guys. They're gonna be mad. For men, get your money up. Don't worry about no woman, and don't lie to women for sex. Don't pretend to be in a relationship, but you're going to do it anyway because you're too cheap to go out and just pay for it. So you want to lie to women for sex to feel like you got some game and you could talk a woman out of her panties. But that's some bullshit and that's disingenuous. Just go do like they did in the old days and go to the brothel.
Yeah. Do what you got to do. These men out here like, use what you get.
They're gold diggers. They're the main gold diggers. Talking about women gold diggers. No, you get digging.
Look, trapping women. That's
lying women
topic.
Girl.
So that said, we are going to wrap it up here. So Amani has shared her final thoughts with the audience. I would take that. So again, thank you, Amani, so much for coming on as our guest. You guys be sure to follow her on Instagram at Amani Eats. Don't spam her page. Please don't.
Right, you will get blocked.
Show some love and be sure to follow her. But know that we do appreciate your opinion, your insight, and your perspective on this topic. And it is my hope that the listeners have enjoyed you as much as I have.
Thank you, Shayna.
You're very welcome. So we'll be back in just one moment with the Montana Minute. Okay. So we have unpacked so much on today's episode, and I hope that you all enjoy. So I'm going to close out with the Montana Minute, and this is something I'm going to have at the end of every episode, just really to give some insight and a recap on the episode for you to have some takeaways. So the first one would be, don't go, quote unquote, looking for love. Live your best life. Live it with good people. Have a good time, and the love is going to come to you. Just be patient. The next thing would be, do not sign up for it if you are not ready, or you know based on experience how the relationship or marriage is going to go. If you're not ready for it, don't do it. It's that simple. And lastly, you are the prize. Not the marriage, not the wedding, not the ring. You are the prize. So thank you all for tuning in today, and know that you can listen to the podcast on any of the platforms that you desire. Anchor, Spotify, Apple is going to be added to so many more. So in the meantime, in between time, remember to take this information, decide to be single or not to be. Until we chat again. Ciao. We are now introducing a new segment to the podcast. This is called Living Single. We want you guys to send in any of your relationship questions, if you need advice, or if you just want to give feedback on the show on a topic that we've discussed. Feel free to DM them on Instagram to Shanna Montana, or you can inbox me on Facebook, Living Single, and we'll definitely be touching on these topics on each episode going forward.